The news is coming in now that Talk TV is going to stop broadcasting. It's going to move on to YouTube and other outlets from the summer. I suppose this follows the defection of Piers Morgan and the squashing of Lee Anderson and the inadequacy of Nadine Dorries when it comes to auto cue reading. I suppose we should be relieved in a way. The problem is, Talk TV has a particular bias, and Scott Taunton, the Talk TV's president of broadcasting. What is that actually? Have we ever heard of Scott Taunton? He sounds like a biscuit. 2 years ago, anyway, he said, Scott, dear Scott, 2 years ago he said, we would not have been brave enough to launch a channel without a linear presence. I don't quite know what a linear presence is. I suppose it means actually having a channel on TV, but audiences of all ages have moved fast, and smartphones are now the primary device where news is consumed. The primary device where news is consumed would be entertaining and principled and compelling broadcasters on YouTube and other outlets who are prepared to say, look, I'm biased. Look, I have an opinion, and I'm not going to wait until I've gone through endless production before I get that opinion out there. And if I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong. If you think I'm inconsistent, fine, so be it. I'm just human, as Matt Hancock would so adroitly say. Matt Hancock getting back into the stationery cupboard with speed. Oh, making something move. But audiences of all ages have moved fast, and smartphones are now as the primary device where news is consumed. Well, we don't just want news, we want opinion. We need to adapt to this as a priority. Actually, they need to adapt to their output. We are, therefore, intending that Talk comes off linear television from early summer and our focus will be streaming. Well, their focus will still fail unless they change the quality of their output, because Talk TV and GB News to a lesser extent, but actually the only difference between Talk TV and GB News is the quality of the service. GB News is significantly more professional than Talk TV. But they both have the same problem, and the problem is that they are aping mainstream media, the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, and doing it on a fraction of the budget, but they're still following that formula. If they want to do something different, they have to change the formula. They have to get rid of all that production guff. And try something which is more immediate, more authentic, and that's frightening. It's frightening, but it can be done, and it's got nothing to do with the right-wing or the left-wing bias. I think both Talk TV and GB News were very, very positive instruments within the media empire, but you know, they still fall foul of Ofcom, as GB News did the other day. Ofcom, which is so slow, it is completely useless. So slow. If it's got a problem, then it should be there and solving it. Not punishing people for the problem, solving the problem. Broadcast is about an immediacy. And if you haven't got that immediacy, you fail. You fail. And YouTube has the advantage of a certain amount of immediacy. Every so often when YouTube goes wrong, you think, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Anyway, Taunton said he reassured employees that it was business as usual. Oh my God. Despite the changes, but he did say there would be a restructure. And over the next few months, the company planned to create a new division to produce bite-sized content for brands such as Talk Sport, The Sun, The Times, The Sunday Times, Virgin Radio. Well, I think that bite-sized thing is done by the BBC. So are they just literally copying the BBC? Because we are proposing to create news studios and change Talk's priority, we are proposing that there is a restructure so that we can focus our resources and talent on the output we will be creating. Well, as far as I can see, all they're really doing in Talk TV is repeating what has already been said by their newspaper outlets and by the wealth of journalists that they've already got running around in what was formerly Fleet Street. So they're not breaking anything, they're not doing anything. And when they need an opinion, they get it from GB News or vice versa. Both these TV shows, both these TV companies are so busy getting their own presenters to interview each other. I remember Nadine Dorries being interviewed by Piers Morgan. Why? She's got her own show and she doesn't do that very well. So why is she on Piers Morgan's show? She should be reviving Jackanory and reading her books to an audience begging for more. Begging. I would certainly turn her on. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure she would be entirely aware or in favour of the reason why I would be lapping up her shows, lapping up a bit like George Galloway in Big Brother. Could you lick George Galloway? Licking Galloway. I don't know whether that's a description or an invitation. But anyway, Taunton says, what is he? Let's get back to linear television, otherwise I will disgrace myself. Linear TV. Because we are proposing to create new studios and change Talk's priorities, we are proposing that there is a restructure so that we can focus our resources and talent on the output we will be creating. It sounds like a government announcement, doesn't it? Linear channel slots. This could have been written by Nadine Dorries. Linear channel slots cost us millions a year, and the advertising revenues are never going to materially exceed the cost of being in these distribution slots. Oh, Boris, help me! I'm stuck in a distribution slot. Everybody's out to get me. Everybody's out to get Boris. It's the plot. There's some malicious conspiracy going on. And I'm going to reveal it to the world. Me, Nadine Dorries. Oh, for Talk TV. That's it. That's my big announcement.